Hi golfers, Jack Spencer here, Practical Golf for All. I entitled today's video, The Most Common Miss. Before I get into that, it's almost the golf season here in Western Pennsylvania. It's finally warming up a little bit. I'd like to do a little public service announcement. I would encourage all of you to take a CPR course. Whether it's through your local community for a nominal charge, maybe even free, or if you don't want to do that, at least go onto YouTube and watch a couple of CPR videos. It's a simple technique these days. You don't have to do breaths for anyone. It's just cardiac compressions. And I know it's only effective about 12% of the time outside of a hospital setting, but still, you might think, well, I'll never use it or I'll forget about it. The fact of the matter is that person lying there is dying. There's not a whole lot you can do to make matters worse for them. And if it happens to occur on the furthest point from the golf course and until they can get hopefully the defibrillator that they have out to that spot, it would behoove you to do something for that individual. And if you take a good look around while you're on the golf course, you'll see that there are some likely candidates probably, guys that are overweight or obese, and it's 7:30 in the morning, they're drinking beer and smoking cigars. It's just a good thing to know, and whether or not you do it properly is not as important as just trying to do it. So, that being said, we're going to talk about what I believe is the most common miss. And that would, and I know I've mentioned this a few times before, and you'll probably hear it again, is your shoulder tilt. The angle that you should achieve on your backswing needs to be imitated by your trail shoulder on the downswing. And I don't care how you take the club back. I mean, if you look on tour, there's Jim Furyk and Matthew Wolff. They're incredibly upright. Matt Kuchar, he's flat as a pancake on his backswing. If you look at their shoulder tilt, you will see that they all have about a 45-degree angle, so to speak, on their backswing of their lead shoulder, and then they'll mimic that on their trail shoulder on the downswing. That's what leads to consistent strikes. And some of you might say, well, if I feel like if I'm doing that, I'm going to chunk it. Just work on it. The dividends will reap themselves, I promise you. The problem that a lot of people have is, even if they get a good tilt on their backswing, on their downswing, they'll be too horizontal with it. And then they'll come across the ball and they'll top it or they'll yank it dead left. You see that a lot in maybe higher handicap people. What you see in maybe some lower handicap, faster swingers is that they'll get back here and then they'll kind of drop it, but they'll come up out of it. They really want to smash the ball. And that's the push fade. That's my big miss. And it all has to do with that tilt coming through. If you tilt it properly coming through, you really can't pull up and out of it. And you certainly can't come across it. You see things online, guys will say, sit in a chair like that. Whatever. You can sit in a chair and open your hips like they want you to, but to me, that's almost going to facilitate coming over it. You have to be really careful with what you try to imitate from what you see online. I'm trying to keep this simple. Not easy. Nothing about it is easy, but at least simple. So, if you're out on the course and you're flaring the ball right, think about that. You're probably pulling up out of it. If you're hitting tops and pulls, you're probably coming over it that way. You want this shoulder, and I know I mentioned in the video that leg drive will pretty much facilitate that proper shoulder tilt, and that's true. I know if I just think about leg drive in my swing, I'm probably going to be ahead of the ball and So my swing thought on that would just be my shoulder, not my leg drive. But that's me. You might be different. One way of practicing that, if you go to the driving range, you can either use, you know, the logo on the balls that happen to be there, or take a Sharpie with you. And I have a little big black dot drawn in an area of this ball. And what you do is, you set it down at the mat so that this black dot is in the inside back quarter of the golf ball. And then concentrate on meeting that ball at that spot. Not the back of the ball, not the outside, but the inside quarter. And if you can do that, the only way to really do that is to get this shoulder tilt in pretty good shape. You see some guys on tour, like, you know, Paul Casey or Dustin Johnson, during their follow-through, they're still, you know, at a little bit of an angle, a spine angle like that. I'm not sure that you should try to imitate that. It's probably a little bit harder on your back. But at the same time, you know, Paul Casey especially is an excellent striker of the golf ball. And what you'll see is at impact, you know, his spine angle will be exactly where it was in his backswing. All those guys, their spine angles are spot on. Rather than worry about how you can maintain that spine angle unto itself, if you do the proper shoulder tilt, it will facilitate the proper spine angle both in the backswing and in the downswing and follow through. And one thing I thought of the other day, you know, I use these weights to loosen up my shoulders, especially my left one. It's only 15 pounds, but if you're struggling with your weight shift, just take a weight. You don't have to take whatever weights, and just do this. And let your body kind of go with where it's being pulled. And then when you do that, you'll feel most of your weight going to your right side and then your left side. And that's kind of a motion that you want to imitate in your golf swing. So again, I think if you're not striking the ball as crisply as you'd like to, or as you normally would, the first thing you should probably take a good look at, don't change your grip. Don't think, well, I'm going to take it outside more, I'm going to take it inside more. Look at how your shoulder tilt, you know, just concentrate. Tilt this at the same angle. That keeps everything aligned properly, and I think it'll really help you improve your ball striking, even during a round, much more so than trying to make other tweaks. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll take the CPR suggestion to heart. Thank you.